Last week, I was participating in a medical humanities conference. As a dentist who teaches students, I was fascinated to see how art helps students connect with their patients to train them on empathy and other aspects. So, here today we have Ms. Smita who is going to be speaking about it. And I have Mr. Srinagesh to introduce Ms. Smita to all of us.
Well, Smita and her family, they are a great family. Environmentalists, artists, concerned with wildlife, so many interesting aspects. One common feature is we are classmates. And when I say we are classmates, don't be surprised. She is far younger to me. But we did MA in counseling psychology together. That's how we became friends. Her father is a good friend of mine. Her sister is a good friend of mine. Her mother was attending my training sessions. And Smita is a great artist also. She is telling us how therapeutic art can guide us to inner peace. Over to Smita.
Thank you, Sri Nagesh ji. Good evening. As we all know, art heals. Art was existent even before language came into, a formal kind of expression. So even before the language was in place, we used to see people make art, and express themselves through art. But of late, art is gaining a lot of importance because a lot of research has shown us that art is one tool which is so good for expressing self and also understanding self. So connecting art with any of the psychological issues, especially with addiction today, because I deal with a lot of young people, teenagers who have addictions, like it could be social media, it could be the internet, it could be the television, as Dr. David was talking about, or it could be substance and other psychological issues like pornography and all that. This is happening because, they don't know much about themselves. A lot of people are very low on self-efficacy. People have not understood the self, and there is no, a safe environment of expression where if some teenager has a difficulty with something, he can go talk about it, either in an institutional setup or in a family setup. We tend to not speak much about what we are going through emotionally, and that also creates a pressure on an individual to get into something like addiction. Because when they're emotionally weak, it becomes very easy to form these habits, and habits take over and they become craving, and as a doctor told you, it becomes addiction in no time. There is also another factor which is today very very prominent, and why youngsters are getting into addiction more and more is because they have a lot of time. They don't use themselves enough, and that's another great reason, because they really don't know what they are. So self-esteem plays a big role. Low self-esteem plays a very big role, in the path of addiction, according to the little experience I have with my clients. Now, how art? Since we know art is, it's a fundamental part of human expression, and addiction has both substance and also behavioral aspect to it. So to heal addiction, we must understand the source of addictive drive and the pain and addiction has caused. So sometimes pain has caused addiction, and sometimes even when people realize that they're addicted, it is very difficult to let go because there is this pain of letting go. So both ways, there is pain associated with addiction, and there is also a source that is, associated with addiction per se. So art therapy helps go beyond language. If there is a teenager coming in my room for, say, counseling, and he has a problem, certain problem and certain thing that has to be discussed, just by words there are so many things that people can't open up with. So a small activity can create a safe environment for people to express their feeling without any inhibition. For example, we do a small activity. I give him a empty box and ask him to write all the feelings that he wants to hide inside the box and something he wants to tell people outside the box. Like this, he is not particularly being threatened or uh, overwhelmed with something that he does not want to come up with instantly. But at the end of the day, we know where the problem is. It could be simple exercises like associating all his emotions, giving it a name and tagging it with a color. Or it could be a simple a drawing where he traces his own hand and he talks about the different feelings and gives names to all of them. So such simple activity, without the knowledge of the individual, he's giving out a lot of information. And after the activity is done, we sit with the client to talk about what he has created. So how is art therapy different from art? Art focuses on the product. Art therapy focuses on the process. Here, the product is not important. Nobody is going to see how good it is looking at the end of the day. But what you did through the process becomes very, very important. And that process gives us a lot of cues on, on what the person is going through. And at the personal level, when somebody is involved in doing something and when you look back at what you have created, it is also telling you a story about yourself. So this aspect will help an individual understand himself or herself better. That is why art becomes a very, very powerful tool when used mindfully to cope up with a lot of issues, psychological issues, and addiction is no different. And the process can also unlock a lot of subconscious emotions without knowing. If I ask a client to draw himself as, let us say, a bunch of roses, it is going to uncover a lot of subconscious self emotions or painful individual incidents or something like that. And this in turn, when we sit down to speak about what has been done in that session, gives a lot of insight, and it becomes very easy for people to open up, narrate, tell, talk, share. So this becomes an initial tool, which takes away the stigma of revealing so many things, and it becomes a natural process of involving people and get them to talk on the table. And going one step further, through art we can give voice to painful feelings. Otherwise, most of the time we don't want to talk about it, but sometimes subconsciously whatever is there, hidden, underlying, comes very freely on the paper through art, so without even the individual being aware of it. And the process itself, the process of making art, it could be a simple mandala painting to some doodling to other forms like sculpting or something like that, which we use according to the client's needs and the situation. It becomes a means of regulation and improving mood. When we talk about recovery, and doctor was also talking about reward, when you're doing something with your own hands, when you are into a creative process, the brain releases the same component it releases when being loved, that is dopamine. It's a very, very positive chemical, and it has a lasting effect on the human brain. So making itself, the process itself, can be a great tool to realizing and also to come out of all the situations they are going through. Research also shows that involving in a creative activity, there is a lot of positive chemical response happening. So this builds a kind of a positive self-image. A person is now able to realize that yes, he can do something potentially better. And once they accept the situation they are in, it could be internet, it could be social media, whatever it is, it could be replaced with something more positive. Since art is also in a kind of positive addiction, it becomes passion, it becomes addiction. So they would have found an alternate to deal with other negative issues. And in process of recovery, when a person has finished their rehab or something like that, and they're in the process of recovery, art gives a very, very powerful platform for them to realize, to communicate, to see a safe environment. And probably it builds and allows new feelings, and they can visualize new future or something like that. So art is self and understanding, it is reflective, it will also, when done in group setup, builds a lot of new social connections, because a lot of addiction also roots from mishandled relationships, or a person who is not having positive relationships with people, dysfunctional relationships. So it also roots from all that. So when you are in a group of peers doing activities which is helping you look at things a little more positively, it certainly changes the perception of the person towards himself, towards his social abilities and life in general. So it goes deep. It really connects a person, individual, with himself, because he is constantly looking at what is coming from within. Art is the only tool that helps you see outward and inwards at the same time. So when you are creating something, you're also going deep into yourself. So a lot of positive takeaways, crop up from there as well. So simple exercises like, when we are in the process of recovery, we generally ask clients to represent their path of recovery pictorially, So when they're doing something like that, they bring in a lot of their emotions and what is triggering them, where they want to go, how it all started. They can all picture this up. And once we are discussing the whole process as such, we deal with the perception, we are dealing with stressful situations, etc. So this gives a clearer picture for the therapist and also for the individual to take any action further. So this is how we start connecting with self. And it also has a very, very soothing effect. Art is always very soothing. There are techniques like meditation, which is very more powerful, but not all of us can get there. So when there is a person who is already in distress and comes to me for help, and I ask him to sit and meditate for 20 minutes, I'm sure it is not going to happen. So art will lead you to that state of mind. It relaxes the mind. Just by, doing a few strokes, it could be simple doodling session or a simple coloring session or something like that. It calms down the mind. It will help us to calm down. It will help us to take control of our emotions. So art this way helps a lot, individually and collectively when done in a group. It also gives an insight to the whole process of recovery, and for an individual from his or her point of view, it creates a grounding effect. They'll have something to come back to, and since it's more positive, once this habit starts forming, it becomes very easy for the individual to disconnect from what he was associated with prior. So this is how art plays a very, very powerful, bridge. And when done mindfully, certain exercises, when done mindfully, will have a very, very positive psychological effect on individuals.
That sounded so fascinating. Thank you, Smita.
Thank you.
I would like to explore it a little bit more too. Okay. Now, why is it that Maitri Foundation is talking about addiction? Like I said before, we are looking at promoting love among humans, animal, and nature. If we don't love ourselves, if we are not comfortable with who we are, then how we can promote love for anyone else? So, keeping this concept in mind, we thought we'll start working on helping people discover themselves better and handle their addictions better. That prompted us to have this session today. We have one more component being presented by Ms. Vasundhara. So I asked Mr. Srinagesh to introduce Ms. Vasundhara to us.
Vasundhara is a 12th student with a remarkable maturity for that age. She has got some good writings. She has got some positive approach. She writes some small essays and also she writes poetry. For the International Day of Peace, I requested her to write a poem on International Peace Day, and she has written a beautiful poem on peace. So, Sundara, come online.
Am I audible?
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Okay. So, firstly, I would thank Sri Nagesh sir for giving me this opportunity. I'm really very grateful to him. Firstly, I would like to present a poem on drug addictions. It's called A Goodbye. Um, on a pitch dark night, I stood before the sky, complaining about the not so peaceful world, not being able to decide which was darker, the night or my soul. Hence, I decided to paint the very solitude which made me feel never good enough. Then my life welcomed you as an uninvited guest. You were fancier than the rest. Heroine is what they call me, you said. For the first time, I did not feel my head. My secret is what I call you, I said. Days passed and you only had so much to take. I was no longer wanting to choose colors to paint. My interactions with my folks became faint. Dear guest, you are taint. My life was slipping away and you promised me of better days ahead. But I happened to see the darker times instead. You even convinced me I was better off dead. Dear guest, you became my dread. Each time I ran away from you, I became blue. I thought you were just my guest, but you truly were a pest. Dear pest, bye. You were very hard to leave, but not impossible, because asking help made it possible. I realized my life was not horrible, it was just my mind which made me feel implausible. Dear pest, goodbye. I made peace with my mind. Once I painted solitude. Now I paint gratitude. Gratitude to the very world I live in. Dear life, hi.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Today is the day of gratitude.
Yes.
So you have ended the poem with a beautiful line.